Hello, this video is for my pre-calculus students. We're going to be doing part 2 of lesson 38. I'll be on pages 197 and 198. Page 197 at the bottom, example 38.4 is the one we didn't get to in the last video. Kind of continuation of that last video, but we were out of time, so we're going to take care of it now. In this, it says find the equation of a line that is tangent to f of x equals sine x when x equals 1. First thing to notice is they're telling us to find the equation of a line. Two things you need in order to find the equation of a line: a point and a slope. A point is made up of two things, though, so technically we need three things here. We need x, we need y, and we need our slope. They've given us the x already. Now the original function is the sine of x. I could do either of two things. I could go find y immediately, or I could go find the slope and by taking the derivative of this. Let's go find y first. Now before we do, you must know that in calculus, anytime they take the sine or the cosine of anything, you must be in radians. You cannot be in degrees. So before we do this, we need to make sure that your calculator is in radians. If you have a Texas Instruments calculator, as I have here, there is a DRG button right here that stands for degrees, radians, and what is called gradients, which we won't go into. There's a glare there. So I pushed the DRG button, and it came up there, and I just used my arrow to get over to radians, and I'm fine. I'm in radians. Clear that. With my Casio up here along right underneath the lens, the screen, it shows several things. It shows 4 degree, 5 radians, 8 radians. And it's over here the mode button, which means I have to push mode and then 5. Mode 5. I am now in radians. So let's go find what y is. Well, we know that f of x is a fancy name for y. Y will be the sine of 1 radian. So again, I'm in radians. I take the sine of 1, and I get that y is 0.84147. For today, we're just going to use 0.84. Does the book use 8.4 or 841? They do, it's just 0.84, so that's fine. We've got to find the slope. F of x is the sine of x. If I take the derivative, which I show as f prime of x, the derivative of sine, we learned last week, is simply cosine. All right, so my slope is the cosine of x. Well, what is x? It is the cosine of 1. Again, I'm in radians. I can clear my calculator and I can go take the cosine of 1, which they show, and my calculator switched back to degrees. My calculator shows 0.999847 on up the line, which is clearly incorrect. I need to go back. I don't know why it switched out of radians, but I'll do that real quick. I'm in radians now. So 1 cosine. That should be a caution for all of you. Make sure each time that you're in the right unit, whether degrees or radians. Now, all I've been asked to do is find the equation of a line of x when x equals 1, y equals 8.84, and my slope is 0.54. Well, I know it's y minus the y they give me, the slope, x minus the x they give me. So y minus 0.84 equals my slope, 0.54 times x minus 1. y minus 0.84 equals 0.54x minus 0.54. I'm going to add 0.84 to both sides. And I get, I don't have room there, y equals 0.54x plus, is that what, 0.3? 0.3. Yes, there we go. They have an illustration of it on the page at the bottom right-hand corner of page 197. If you have not corrected it, your calculator shows it in your book has a typo in it. They have the equation is y equals 0.45x plus 0.30. Change that to 0.54. Okay, so there we go. We had to find, they gave us x, we had to find y, we had to find our slope by using the derivative, and then just the point slope formula of a line. Moving on to page 198, 38D, higher order derivatives. This one is actually pretty easy. In 38.5, it says y equals 3u to the fifth. And then it says find d squared y over dx squared, or over du. It uses the letter u. This u here could have been an x. This would be x, u, u. And then they have this line, and they have a 2 there. All this means is find the second derivative and plug in the number 2. If this had just been dy over du, it would be find the first derivative and plug in the number 2. But they put this 2 beside the d and beside the u. They don't put it next to this y because it's not y squared. We're not going to get it all that way. But there's just the notation of it. So we need to find the first derivative. Well, I'll write it as y prime. The first derivative is this 5 coming to the front multiplied by the 3. We get 15u. And then from the 5 we subtract 1, and we've got 4. The first derivative is 15u to the fourth. The second derivative, which I will show as y with 2 prime numbers, y double prime, the 4 comes to the front, gets multiplied by the 15, and 4 minus 1 is 3. That is the second derivative. They could have asked us for the third derivative. The 3 comes to the front, gives me 180u squared. They could ask us for the fourth derivative and even the fifth derivative. We won't go there. So this third derivative is irrelevant. They wanted the second derivative and plug in the number 2. Okay, so we've got 60 times 2 cubed. That's 60 times 8. That is 480. That's a 4 there. Looks kind of goofy. The second derivative. 38.6 says if f of x equals 1 over x squared, find f triple prime of 2. This says find the second derivative, plug in the number 2. This says find the third derivative and plug in the number 2. I don't know why they're so stuck on 2, probably because it's kind of easy. We have to change this 1 over x squared into x to the negative 2 power. Okay, first derivative, negative 2 comes to the front. Subtract 1 from 2, we've got negative 3. Second derivative, f double prime of x. Negative 3 comes to the front, gets multiplied by negative 2. Positive 6. Subtract 1, I've got to the negative 4 power. Third derivative, Negative 4 jumps to the front, negative 24, and we have x to the negative 5 power. I know why they picked 2 now, because you don't want to do 2, 3, 4, or 5, anything like that, to the negative 5 power. I'm going to jump up here. We've got, that's the same as negative 24 over x to the 5th. Okay? X 2 to the 5th power. Well, that's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Negative 24 over 32, reducible fraction. They're both divisible by 8. I get negative 3/4. Again, not real difficult. Just show all your work, like I always say, and do it one step at a time. That's all we have for now. More videos later. Thanks. What? Oh.